The hate army troll.
It's the hate army,
bro.
The hate army.
Shout
that
out
guy.
to hate.
Good vibes to the
Shout
hate
out to
army.
hate.
Shout out to hate.
Shout out
Shout
for
out to
hate.
hate.
Shout out to hate.
Shout out for
Shout
hate.
out for hate.
All right. So what's going on right now? First of all, I think it's time for my favorite segment. Your favorite segment. Everyone's favorite segment. It's time for Phil's Day Off, ladies and gentlemen. I think we should change the color. It actually doesn't stand out as well. Hold on. It doesn't seem to stand out as well. Of course, I clicked the wrong thing. Let's make it like maybe pink or red or something. Make it stand out a little more. Oh, green actually stands out pretty good there, huh? Or yellow. Oh, yellow really stands out. We'll do that. Okay. So it's time for the Phil's Day Off segment. So what happened yesterday on my day off? Well, hold on. There we go. Well, yesterday was my day off, and I had a great day. It was a long day. We had a lot to do, my wife and I. A lot of errands to run. At the same time, like I said, it was the celebration of her birthday, kind of a day late, because she just wanted to stay home on her actual birthday. So, that being said, I decided to do a few fun things with my wife that normally we wouldn't do, as I said. Basically, I decided to do a little bit of shopping with her as part of her kind of like birthday present. But also, we went to a dinner and stuff like that. Okay, so a lot of different interesting things. So, what did we do? Well, the usual. Grocery shopping, pet supply shopping, and the like. We did go to a couple stores for some nice things. We actually got a couple things for the house. All right? Nothing too major. A couple cheap pieces of artwork and stuff. I think one of them was like $15 and one was like $20. And we did a little bit of decorating downstairs. We actually rearranged the whole bottom floor of the house. We moved like pictures that we had in one spot and moved them to another spot and did stuff like that. You know, moved them all around the house and stuff like that. Okay? So, you know, it was nice to do a little bit of redecorating. Particularly, we went to... my wife wanted to do something nice that we don't do for dinner. And I was like, well, you know, certain things that we could do that we don't do all the time. And she came up with an idea that she wanted to go to a dim sum restaurant. Okay? And I was like, dim sum's interesting because we almost never have it. I think in the entire time I've lived here, we've probably had dim sum like 2-3 times. Okay? Now, there's a really nice dim sum restaurant at our local mall. And so we went there. And the funny part about this restaurant, all right, I told my wife, listen, it's your birthday celebration. We're going to get whatever you want. It doesn't matter what the price is. So we went to this restaurant with absolutely no knowledge of what the pricing was of anything there. Okay? And so we sit down and they say, well, here's your menu. And what you do is you pick what you want on the menu, you order, and then we bring it to you. So we're looking at this menu, and they got all kinds of stuff. There's noodle dishes, there's dumplings, there's steamed buns, there's wontons, there's soups, all kinds of things. There's desserts, you know, specialty drinks. And we're like, so I wonder what we should get. You know, I really don't know. And again, we don't know the pricing of anything. So we're like, let's just, you know, pick some random items off the list. We, you know, haven't been here. So let's try all these different various things. So we ended up getting a noodle dish that was like chopped pork noodle dish. I don't know what it was called. We got these dumplings. It was XLB. It stood for, so something Lao Bao or something like that. I don't know what it stood for. But it was supposed to be like soup dumplings. And what that means is it's like a dumpling, steamed dumpling, but inside there's actually like a broth or soup of the flavor of the protein that's in there plus the protein. So it's not just a standard dumpling with like a dry filling, but it has a bunch of liquid in it as well. It's kind of neat, right? And then we got 2 orders of these steamed buns. Now, these are the classic things, and I'm trying to remember what they're actually called. But here, it was a funny thing because I told my wife this story. I said, when I was growing up, you know, I went to arcades and I played fighting games. And there was always this kind of a meme back then in fighting games, a cultural thing, that certain characters love to eat steamed buns. Okay? And it's just weird because I never knew what they were. So, for example, one of the characters, I think his name was Si Kensu, and he was on the Chinese team in King of Fighters, the fighting game. And he always loved to eat the steamed buns. And he would take one out after winning and bite it off. And I was like, what is he eating? Is that like a pastry? Or is that a candy, a sugar? I didn't know. I didn't know what dim sum was when I was young. So I had no concept of what he was eating. So come to find out, there is this meme in like China and Japan and other places, that dim sum is like very popular, steamed buns, and people like have a craving, an addiction to it. And there's even characters that are constantly like trying to eat it. Okay. I mean, I've played games like Persona, and it's been part of that, and I didn't know what that stuff was, right? So we got 2 different orders of steamed buns. One was supposed to be pork filled, and one was supposed to be chicken and mushroom filled. So we ordered all this food, and we're like, you know, we got basically 4 orders of food, and we're thinking, this is going to be like a crazy overabundance of food. We're going to be eating so much food, we're going to be stuffed to the gills, right? Like, oh my God, we're going to be so full at the end of this meal. So first, the noodle dish comes out. And, you know, it's, honestly, this is supposed to be a dinner, and we're looking at it, and we're like, that totally looks like an appetizer. It's a, you know, a dish of noodles, long noodles, thin noodles, with a bunch of chopped pork and other things, you know, a little chopped like green onion and other seasonings and veggies and things are topped in there with it, with this like kind of a sauce that looks like a soy sauce. So we basically split it. We had 2 little plates. We split it, and we both ate it. We liked it, but it wasn't that much. You're like, yeah, it's good, but certainly if I had gotten that for like dinner, I probably would have been disappointed because it wasn't very filling. I'm like, well, I'm glad they brought that out first, because to me, that's basically like an appetizer, right? A little taste of something. So then up next, they bring out the small chicken steamed dumplings. These are supposed to be the soup dumplings, the XLB, which I don't know what it stands for, okay? Okay, cool, let's try it. So there's 10 of these things, and they're very little. Each one's barely a bite, okay? And you can tell they're ultra fresh, they're handmade. So you pick them up with chopsticks, you put it in your mouth, and you get a burst of flavor because you get all that broth comes right in the second you bite into the dumpling, and then you get the chicken center. So it's kind of like having fresh chicken soup in your mouth, really. It was good. But again, it's 5 little bites, okay? Not even full mouthfuls, but 5 little bites of dumplings. So we had the noodles, we had the dumplings, and we're like, wow, all the food tasted good. But we're 2 courses in, and we're not even close to feeling full. It felt like we basically had like 1 appetizer at this point, okay? So like, okay, here come the steamed buns, all right? So first come out, well, actually what they did, they brought them out double-decker style, and they put them down. And one, like I said, was pork-filled, and one was chicken-filled. Admittedly, the steamed buns were the best thing we had all night. True steamed, because this is fresh. These are made fresh right there, you know, not frozen. Handmade dough, ham steamed in these steamers and everything. Super hot. Dude, it was ridiculously good. Like, the dough is so unique, okay? The dough itself, when you look at it, you're like, it doesn't look like it's cooked. It looks like it's raw dough. And then when you touch it, you immediately realize that's not the case. It's completely, you know, solid on the outside, but as you rip off or bite into it, it's fluffy on the inside of this dough. And it has this unique sweet flavor, the likes of which it's not confection, it's not like a pastry dough, but it's also not ultra savory. It's a completely unique dough, the likes of which, you know, you never really had in anything else before, okay? So, we're eating this. The first one we had was the pork, and you bite in, and the first mouthful you get is just all the dough. And you realize, okay, there is pork in here. Essentially, it is like a dumpling-sized piece of pork in the middle, but you got to eat all the dough around it kind of to get to it. And you can dip this in soy sauce and other stuff if you want, or you could just eat it plain. I opted to eat it plain, all right? So after like a bite, and I got all the dough tasted good. Then I finally get the bite with the pork in it, and it tastes great. So the pork is a little savory, a little sweet. Kind of tastes like the best. You ever had pot stickers or really fresh like dumplings that they make? I forget what the actual name of it is. But basically, like, it tasted good. The filling was delicious, and the breading was good. So I'm like, oh, it's not bad at all. And there were 2, so we each got 1. And by the way, how big are they? I'd argue they're about that big. So they're not giant, but they're not small. They're kind of in between size as you eat it. And then we also got the chicken and mushroom flavoring. Well, not flavoring, but filling dim sum. And what are they called? Bao? Are they called bao? I think that might be what they call these buns, these steamed, buns. So we each got that too, and then we each got 1 of that. And I'll be honest, that was the best thing of the night. The one with the chicken and mushroom inside, flavorful as hell. And it's funny because it was the last course we ate. And my wife goes, if we had this first, man, I would have just ordered like 5 more of these. Like this particular steamed bun with the chicken and mushroom inside was absolutely the best flavor of anything we ate all night. I was like, yeah. It's kind of disappointing because we didn't know what to expect. Never having eaten at like a real dim sum restaurant like this before, we didn't actually know what to get or what was considered good. That's why we kind of ordered all over the menu like we did. And so we eat it and we basically finish, right? And we look at each other. We're like, so what did we think? Well, the noodles were all right. The soup dumplings were good, but not great. The pork steamed bun was pretty good, and then that chicken and mushroom steamed bun was absolutely the best of all night. I want more, right? But we're like, all right, well, we ate 4 courses. I guess, we're done. What are we going to do? Keep ordering, right? So, all right, we're done. So I'm just curious, what's the cost of this stuff? Well, of all the things, the most expensive thing I think was the noodles. And I could be wrong. I think the noodles was like $16 or something like that. And I was like, what? Why were the noodles so expensive? Of all the things, I thought the noodles would have been the cheapest, and I'm pretty sure they were like the most expensive of anything. And then the soup dumplings were like $13 or something like that. And that kind of made sense because it's like 10, so each person gets 5 if it's splitting between 2. And for an appetizer at like an American restaurant, that would be around the same price. So that one kind of made sense. The thing that really blew me away, the pricing on the steamed buns, it wasn't expensive at all. Each steamed bun order of 2 was $7.50. So that means each steamed bun was like just under like $3-4 bucks, between $3-4 bucks. And we were like, wait a minute. The best thing we had was the steamed buns. So if we had known that, we would have ordered like 4 orders of steamed buns. Seriously, I would have I would have just sat down and ate a ton of these things because they were so good. So now we kind of know. Now, also on the menu, like I said, they have wontons, and we didn't try that. So I'm curious what that would be like, because isn't that like a fried dumpling? So maybe that would be a little different. Also, they have other kinds of like vegetables and things on there. They had, I think the waiter had said one of the most popular things they do is like these seasoned string beans or something like that. And we didn't try those either, but I had noticed at the tables around us that a lot of other people were having those string beans. I guess they must be popular if everyone around us is kind of eating them. So, tallying it all up, and then you got to toss in tax and tip. Honestly, it wasn't so different from like a normal meal out that, you're not just ordering minimal, but you're ordering like several courses. It was about the same. But what I could say is, if we had, instead of doing the noodles and instead of doing those soup dumplings, if we had sat down and known to get like a bunch of the steamed buns, we probably could have been like super full and not spend as much money. But we just didn't know because, we've never been there before. And so we were talking about it. We're like, well, we'd like to come back in the future. Not anytime soon because we just had it. But we'd like to go back in the future and now know to order more of the steamed buns because that was our favorite thing of all night. And it was the cheapest thing we ordered, right? And they're different kinds. It's not just the pork and the chicken, but I think they have like other fillings too that you can get. So that's probably what we would do is order like 3 or 4 orders of steamed buns and maybe try the wontons or something because we didn't have them yet and go from there. But it wasn't bad at all. It was something different. And the good thing is basically we tried a lot. We know what we like and we don't like. So if we go back, the second experience would likely be better than the first, right? So it was nice to be a little adventurous and do things. They don't have restaurants like that in America, honestly. This is one of the rare ones. In fact, I think there's one here. There might be one in California. And a lot of these restaurants are over in Asia. But they don't really have them that often around here. There is like a fast foodie dim sum place around here. It's not very good. We tried it once ages ago. And it just wasn't that good. And it was way too expensive. So this is much better. You're sitting down, you're getting everything freshly made right in front of you. You can actually see they have a room where people are making the dough for the dumplings, and you could see them making the dough by hand. You're like, whoa, that's pretty crazy. So it's a pretty interesting place, okay? Anyway, yeah, not bad at all, and we had a good time there. Like I said, we came home, we did some decorating of the house. We basically rearranged. We had a lot of artwork that has been on the walls for years and years. And what we did, we took it down, we cleaned the walls, and we were like rearranging the art in the house and stuff like that. And we had gotten some nice pieces of nature art. Like one of them is it's a deer standing in the middle of the woods. All right. And so we got something like that, and we basically rearranged it. So now our living room is more nature focused with the artwork and the stuff that's in there, which is very nice. It was kind of weird. So we have these giant pieces of art on the wall that are not expensive. They're basically like they were from IKEA, and they've been on the walls for like a decade, right? But we always had one in the living room and one in the dining room. So we opted to do is kind of rotate them around. And so one looks like a big ocean wave and one looks like the woods. So we rotate them around, and immediately I noticed something. I was like, now the living room looks more confined and almost like more cozy. And now the dining room looks way more spacious. Even though obviously that's not the case. The space hasn't changed. They're the same rooms. But it's wild how colors and artwork and things like that can really make a room feel different. You know, you hear about these people who are total masters of home decor, feng shui and stuff like that, and you think, oh, it's all nonsense. And then you do something as simple as swapping a picture on a wall, and the whole room feels different. The living room literally feels completely different now. I was like, that's crazy. Just from swapping one piece of art or whatever, it's pretty wild. So anyway, we did that. We cleaned up the house a little bit. You know, it was a good day. We actually, for the first day since Starfield came out, Kat did not play Starfield. She took a day away from Starfield. So now today she can kind of jump back in and play it more. But it was good to have that full day away, I guess, you know, decompression, right? So it was good. It was nice. It was a nice day. Overall, you know, we did a lot of good stuff. We restocked, like we went to Costco. We restocked the house with things that we needed that we were low on. Oh, so a lot of people had asked, well, did she get a cake for her birthday? No, she wanted a pie. And I asked her, would you like to get a pie? There's lots of places out here we can get pies. There's a local supermarket. There's Costco. There's actually a diner called Sherry's that make like fresh pies and things. And she said, well, we got to go to Costco anyway. Let's go to Costco because we know they have giant pies, right? All right, so let's see what they got. So at Costco, we go, they only have 2 pies. We're like, what? They only have 2 pies at our Costco. Like, that sucks. We've been there before, and they had like 5. They've had all kinds of selection, fruit, cream, pumpkin. This time, they only had 2 pies. They had pumpkin pie, and they had peanut butter cream pie. I don't want to buy a ginormous peanut butter cream pie. How am I going to eat all this? It's too rich, you know. So the good news is my wife loves pumpkin pie. So we ended up getting a pumpkin pie. It's huge. I came home and cut it up into giant slices. And she had a piece last night and she loved it. I had a very small piece. It's not as dense as standard pumpkin pie. Like when you get pumpkin pie, you usually think, oh, it's going to be really thick. It's not. It's a little bit more airy, a little bit more whipped, I would say. But the flavor's good. So she likes it. She's got a ton of it to eat over the course of, you know, the next week or two. You know, that's kind of like her. That's the equivalent as if she had a birthday cake. She got a pie because that's what she wanted. So there you go. I'll probably eat maybe one more piece. I'm not a big sweets guy to begin with. And I'm not in love with pumpkin pie. I think it's just all right. So I'll probably have another piece in the next week or so. But, oh yeah? King Be Cruel says the peanut butter pie from Costco will send you to an early grave, but it's good. Can you imagine how many calories that effing thing must have? Pure peanut butter in a whipped pie. It's like, dude. Like I said, I'm not against it. Sounds great. I love peanut butter. But that's something I would like to have one piece of and then move on. Not buy a giant pie and expect it to eat that thing. You know. That's just not good. Anyway, what else did we do? I'm just thinking if there's anything else particularly that we did. I think it covers the bases. You know, it was a very busy day. When we have all these errands to run and everything, the day flies by. You know, we woke up, we were getting ready to go out, we had to go grocery shopping. Actually, we had to get gas this week. We had to go grocery shopping. We had to come back and unload all the groceries and unpack them and everything. Then we had to go to Costco, go to the pet store, you know, one or two other things while we were out. And then we had to, you know, then we went to the mall to get this dinner and everything. And by the time you're done, you're like, we've been up, you know, since like 8, 9 in the morning. It's already like 7 p.m. Like, dude, where did the day go? It's the whole day. I'm so tired. I just want to go home at that point, you know?
To Big B helps me more than anything.